What if I told you that the richest man in history never owned gold? No stocks, no real estate, no business empire. In fact, he gave everything away. And yet, kings and emperors bowed before him. They offered him more wealth than Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos combined. Sounds impossible, right? But it's true. This man controlled more wealth, influence, and power than almost anyone in his time. And he did it without ever chasing money. Instead, he followed a philosophy that modern billionaires secretly practice today. Who was he? And more importantly, what did he know that the richest people today don't? Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll never look at wealth the same way again. The boy who chased wisdom. Our story begins over 1,000 years ago, deep in the heart of China. Xuanzang wasn't born into wealth. He wasn't a king, a merchant, or a warrior. He was just a boy, obsessed with something most people feared: silence. While others chased power, Xuanzang chased wisdom. His family wanted him to follow a normal life be a scholar, serve the empire, maybe even accumulate some wealth. But something about that path felt empty. He would watch powerful officials walking through the marketplace, covered in silk, weighed down by gold, and yet they never looked at peace. Xuanzang realized something that most people never figure out in their entire lifetime. The more you chase wealth, the more it controls you. So, he did the unthinkable. He walked away, left his home, his future, his comfort. He chose a different kind of wealth. Not gold, but knowledge. Not power, but wisdom. He became a monk, dedicating his life to learning not just from books, but from experience. But the knowledge he sought was missing. The texts in China were incomplete. Fragments, pieces of something much larger. And the answers? They were in India, thousands of miles away. But there was a problem. China's rulers had banned anyone from leaving the empire. They controlled knowledge. They controlled who could learn and who couldn't. But Xuanzang wasn't willing to wait for permission. The forbidden journey. Alone and on foot, he set out on a journey that most wouldn't survive. Thousands of miles. Across the Gobi Desert, where the sun burns so hot during the day it melts flesh from bone, and at night, the cold freezes men where they stand. Across towering mountains, where a single misstep meant death. Through kingdoms at war, where bandits killed for a single coin. He had nothing. No protection, no army, no supplies. At one point, he almost starved to death in the desert. At another, he was captured and imprisoned only to escape in the dead of night. But he refused to turn back. And something strange started happening. People began helping him. Villagers offered him food, even when they had little for themselves. Merchants gave him shelter, expecting nothing in return. And then, something even bigger. Kings heard of him. Nobles sent him gifts. Entire empires opened their doors to him. By the time he reached India, he was no longer just a monk. He was a legend in the making. He spent years there, learning from the greatest scholars, collecting ancient texts, translating lost wisdom. And then he did something that no one expected. He returned home. The return of a legend. When he arrived back in China, he wasn't just welcomed, he was worshipped. Emperors, generals, and nobles bowed before him. They offered him land, gold, palaces, power. They wanted him to be a king, but he turned it all down. He didn't keep a single coin, because Xuanzang had figured out something that billionaires today are only just starting to realize. Money isn't wealth. Wealth is control. Control over your mind, your time, and your emotions. And when you understand this, you will never struggle with money again. Modern billionaires follow monk philosophy. Fast forward to today. What do billionaires like Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, and Ingvar Kamprad have in common? They don't chase money, they master it. They live simple lives. They don't waste time on distractions. They think long-term instead of focusing on the next paycheck. Warren Buffett, despite being worth hundreds of billions, still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck every day, not because he couldn't afford variety, but because he eliminated unnecessary choices. Ingvar Kamprad, the founder of IKEA, built a furniture empire worth billions. But he drove a used Volvo for decades, flew economy class, and ate cheap meals at his own store. They weren't trying to look rich. They were trying to stay rich. And to do that, They followed 3 rules, the same rules Xuanzang lived by. The 3 rules of wealth. Rule number 1, detachment. The harder you chase money, the more it runs away. The moment you stop obsessing over wealth, it starts flowing to you effortlessly. Investors who panic and chase quick gains always lose. Those who stay calm and play the long game win. That's why smart investors use tools like Seeking Alpha to analyze stocks with real data instead of gambling on hype. Rule number 2, patience. The wealthiest investors don't react to every market dip. They don't panic, sell, they think long-term. Warren Buffett didn't build his fortune overnight. He followed structured, proven strategies. Some investors even follow stock picks from alpha picks because they focus on long-term success instead of short-term emotions. Rule number 3, disciplined wealth isn't about luck. It's about building small, consistent habits that lead to financial freedom. Monks master their mind. Billionaires master their money. Discipline is required to master both. Buffett reads for hours every day. Kamprad built his empire through simplicity. Even the richest people in the world follow structured habits to stay wealthy. Are you chasing or attracting wealth? So, what does this mean for you? It means the richest people aren't the ones with the most money. They're the ones with the least attachment to it. The world chases wealth, but the ones who truly succeed, they let it come to them. So, let me ask you, are you still chasing wealth, or are you attracting it? Because your answer will determine your financial future. If this changed the way you think about money, subscribe for more insights. And if you want to start applying these principles today, I've linked some powerful resources in the description, including some of the best bank bonuses and passive income strategies over at moneysmylife.com. The choice is yours. Choose wisely.